And I will give you an overall generality about what I like, because I want to encourage those things that I do like. But I'm not going to give you a blanket attaboy. I'm going to be critical. And if you can't deal with that, then I will just tell you right up front, without reading it, I'll save my time and say, it's wonderful, and hand it back to you.
Right.
But after I do read it and I do all my notes, I do sit there for a moment and prep myself to deal with you. Because now I have to give you my notes.
Mm-hmm.
And most people, of aspiring writers, I would say 95% of aspiring writers.
What did you mean by that, Steve?
Yeah, they don't know how to take it. They make excuses, well, you didn't see it. Well, it's there, and, and believe me, I've heard every possible excuse, and,
Yeah.
and you do not like to hear my responses to them, because I have every possible response.
Mm-hmm.
And I can give you right now, here's the secret to taking notes. Absolutely the secret. First of all, you sit there either in front of your keyboard or with the recorder, and you write down everything that they say.
Mm-hmm.
Page 37, I thought the character was a little disingenuous with their emotional arc. And here's how you respond to that. I see. Okay, I have to look at that. That's a good note. Let me think about that one. There you go.
That's it.
That's all you need to say.
Right.
Just respond that way. Because if you start being defensive about it, we're not going to get past the first note.
That's right. And then the person who's trying to help you will shut down.
Absolutely. And if you're working, this is very important, if you're working for a studio, you're working with executives, everybody assumes executives are idiots. No. I mean, we can always point to individuals that were kind of weird and difficult, but they have a purpose. They have a point of view. You have to find that as well. And when I take notes from executives, I pretty much give that response. Because if I'm listening to what they're saying and they trust me to actually give them a fair audience to their particular notes, when I do my rewrite, I'll take their notes and I will go through it, and I'll give it a fair audience. If it's a good note, it goes in. If it's not, I throw it out. So when they get the next script, they'll read through it and they'll say, oh, here's a note I gave, and they put it in. Okay, Steve took my note. Here's another one that he put in. Okay, great. But if I'm resistant to them from day one, they will now, page by page, they want to make sure every note that they gave was in there, because I fought them every step of the way. It becomes a competition.
Right.
And by the way, this business is very competitive. Your writing can never be a competition with anybody. It can't be. The moment you say, I'm going to write better than that writer, you have now failed. You've lost.
Because it's so you only bring to the table your own gifts.
Yeah, and you lose focus on what you're doing.
Because you're looking at them.
That's right.
How when you and I exchange scripts, it's usually through the internet. I don't know if you know this, but I actually print out all of your notes. I print them out, and I have them here in the script here, and I go through one after the next, and I think it through. Well, if I do that change, then that will have this change, and this will have that change. Yeah, and then I begin, and then I mark off that I've done that, and then I read the next one. I go, no, but I go through each one and check it. I go. Okay. I mean, that's how much I take seriously what it is you say.
I do pretty much the same thing. Yeah. I will, of course, I have a wide screen, so I just do one here and one here.
Oh, nice.
But what I will actually do is I'll go through, if I'm doing it, well, regardless, if I'm doing it on a computer screen or I'm doing it hard copy, the first thing I do is I incorporate those notes into my script, not interpretationally. I will find the point that you had the note, and in big block letters and capital letters I will put in, Lisa thinks that this scene is a little too long. Take a look at it. I just mechanically put it in there. Then generally I'll print it out and I'll go have lunch. And I start reading through it. And every time I get to one of those particular notes, I'm not problem solving at the moment. I'm trying to look through your eyes. And I'm saying to myself, is there something here I missed? What did she see? Is it too long, for example? And if I see that it is too long, then what happens is my mind automatically starts trying to find fixes, even as I move on to the next thing.
Right.
And what happens is on the back of the script, I end up with a bunch of one-liners, because I'll be 5 scenes later on, and then I'll realize, wait a minute, if I shorten that scene, I can take that bit of material and I can put it here, and that opens up another possibility for this character to talk about that, to make sure that, okay, because I want to make sure I don't miss that, and then go back to it. Notes is not an opportunity to make your work worse. Notes are an opportunity to make it better.
That's right.
Exploit it. And by the way, I also look at it this way. You don't just plop a note in. If the note is in scene, Act 2, Scene 4, you don't just take that note and say, okay, I'm going to have him say this. Bop. What you then have to do is say, I'm going to have him say that now. How does that affect everything? How can I take advantage of that? How can I improve upon it? And how can I take advantage of this so that I can explore the opportunities that I wasn't able to explore before? Mm-hmm. So to me, it becomes a positive experience. But I will admit, when I first started as a writer, taking notes was extremely difficult.
Yes, it feels like a personal assault.
That's the thing, and it's not.
Right.
It's absolutely not a personal assault. It can turn into that way if you become defensive, because then you are disrespecting the person giving you the notes.
Yeah, the best absolute thing to do is listen.
It's just listen to them and give them the benefit of the doubt. Never assume you're right. Never assume you're right. When you are right, fight for it. But always, always remember, the thing that will impress people more is when you say, I'm wrong.
Absolutely. I wish we could spend some more time, because I love listening to how your brain works.
You should like listening on our coffee meetings.
Oh, we have great coffee meetings at Starbucks. I shouldn't tell our audience where.
Well, Starbucks or Dazbogs is my favorite. I'm sorry.
And,
shout out to Dazbogs.
We drink coffee and sit there with our computers, and we talk about the projects that are on the forefront of the writing burner.
Well, we'll start that way. We'll always start off by saying something like, so what are you working on? Well, I'm working on a story about that. Then by the end of it, we're talking social issues and politics and economics and mostly psychological issues. And
next thing you know, it's like 6 hours later.
Yeah. So we kind of tumble into other things. And then I steal her stuff because it's another thing.
Well, I owe you a big thank you.
Why?
Just for everything you've done as far as supporting my work as a playwright. He's also a photographer, and he shows up at my plays and takes these incredible pictures and makes it look like,
Well, that's fun. I enjoy. Well, once again, it's fun. That's the whole point of doing this.
That's the whole fun of anything.
Well, I love your work. You know that. So it's not even a matter of me, when you say I'm a supporter of your work, it didn't really occur to me that I'm a supporter of your work. I guess it's more like I appreciate the talent. So, it's right there on the page. You are... And cool thing is I get backed up, because I can say your work is wonderful, but then when everybody else says it, I can just say, yeah, I know.
You knew before other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you. I think you knew before I did.
Well, I don't know. That's something you would have to actually answer. But I will say this. The latest thing I read that she wrote, there are 2 scenes in there which are absolutely 2 of the best scenes I've ever read in any stage play, film, or television. And I told you that.
Oh, not quite like that. Now I'm sweating.
No, I told you it was incredibly powerful scenes.
Wow.
Those 2 scenes were, in fact, I told Babs about them.
Oh.
No, so I guess she's going to steal them now. But
no.
No, incredibly powerful scenes.